flower folks, welcome to Share Inspirations. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about 5 late fall and winter blooming perennials to add to your garden now. I know you're thinking that I'm crazy, however, trust me, you want to add all of the bare root perennials or plants that are being sold at the nurseries now, so that way you can have established perennials. Of course, they won't be ready to cut flowers this year, but at least you will have them in the garden with the hope that in a year or so you will have winter harvest. Now, something I want to give a heads up on, when I say winter blooming, I mean for zone 8 and beyond. Anytime you are below zone 8, like say 6 or 7, you can get these to bloom for you under a low tunnel or an unheated hoop house if you have one, if you have access to one. Below zone 5, of course, they will be probably outside and probably will have a little bit later of a blooming time. So I wanted to get that out of the way. However, if you are zone 8 and beyond, all of the south of the country from say the Sunbelt states, California, Nevada, Arizona, even some parts of New Mexico, going to Texas, all the way to the south, all the southern states, Alabama, and so on and so forth. Wherever zone 8 and beyond is, you can go ahead and grow these, get them at the stores, or either trade them like I do. So something else I wanted to say was extremely important is normally what ends up happening is I would have a growing season starting from January when I start harvesting my daffodils all the way till November when I harvest the first or 2 weeks of November until first frost comes, and that's when I'm harvesting sunflowers, zinnias, cosmos, dahlias and roses and so on and so forth. Frost comes second week of November, taking out all of those items for me. So from second week of November till late January, I don't have anything. So what I do normally is have my greenhouse prepped up, which I'm going to also share with you what I'm doing with my greenhouse in July, and direct sow annuals like snapdragons, pansies, and larkspur. Larkspur a little bit later, but snapdragons and pansies a little bit earlier, and then sweet peas, and all of those will start flowering for me come November. So they will be direct sown in July, start flowering in November, all the way till next year, April, May, June. Even right now they're still flowering. The greenhouse, of course, does get very hot, so every year July is when I redo the greenhouse, but that's for annuals. However, the perennials that I've added that will take over once my first frost hits, the number 1 perennial that I have here that I've added is right here, the American Beautyberry. I have added this bare root plant. I have made a video on this when I added this back in January. That's when I had access to it. I'll go ahead and leave the link as to how to plant a American Beautyberry if you'd like to see. I have this plant, as you can see, it's got 3 strands coming out. 1, 2, well, maybe not 3, it's 2. And then I also have one right here, and this is also a American Beautyberry. I added 4, and it seems like 2 of them are doing great, but the third one seems to be just barely starting out, and it took forever to get going. So that was my number 1 late fall blooming plant that can be used. The berries can be used in cut flower arrangements, and they look beautiful. Number 2 is going to be Forsythia, and I'm going to show you the plant that I have added right there. And this is also, it was also added as bare root, and you can see 1, 2, and then 3 right there. This was added on May 9th, and we are now in July. So I'm hoping that it would at least be big enough, if not to flower, but at least to stay green throughout the winter, and maybe I can harvest the greenery along with my annuals that I'm going to be getting from the greenhouse. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, of course, my favorite, Camellia, right here. This is a beautiful pink flowering Camellia, and you can get a baby seedling plant from somebody if you know somebody who has this, or you can take a cutting and try it that way. It's very, very easy to root. All you do is take a cutting and just stick it in the ground. You don't need rooting hormone or anything like that. That is how I grew this. This was just a cutting, and it's growing, as you can see. That's number 3, Camellia. They make wonderful cut flowers. The foliage, it is very slow going, so keep that in mind. I'm not, of course, assuming it would flower in this year, probably another few years, but hey, at least you have something. This is number 3. And number 4 is this lungwort right here. This variegated foliage, and this creates beautiful purple pink looking flowers late winter for me here. And gorgeous plant, makes a wonderful cut flowers. It looks very dainty, but does have a pretty good vase life of about 5 to 7 days. Same thing with Forsythia. American Beautyberry would actually last you around 7 to 10 days, because those are the berries dry out and so on and so forth. Camellias will also last about 5 to 7 days. And the number 5th one is this one right here. This is a winter blooming jasmine. They are not fragrant like your normal star jasmine. However, they have yellow flowers right when we need them in the winter time when we have nothing else going. So those were the 5 plants that are winter blooming in zone 8 and beyond. I hope you found this video helpful and it added value into your cut flower gardening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.